If you could travel back in time to Massachusetts in the year 1627, you would find the tiny village of New Plymouth standing alone in the wilderness along the shore of Cape Cod Bay. This village was where people of the English colony of Plymouth lived back then. A visitor here would have seen that this was a place where people worked hard, trying to improve their lives while they built a strong new community. But it was also a place where people had strong ideas about religion. This was because many of the colonists were Pilgrims, or Separatists as they were called back then. The Pilgrims had broken away from their country's official religion, the Church of England, because it did not have the plainness, simplicity, and strictness they thought a true religion should have. Back in England, in small village churches like these, the Pilgrims had tried to follow their religious beliefs, but had been persecuted and even jailed for doing so by their ruler, King James I. The Pilgrims refused to change their beliefs and left England first to live in Holland. And then later, in 1620, they sailed on a ship called the Mayflower to start their new colony in America. While crossing the ocean, storms blew the Mayflower off course, bringing the colonists to New England instead of to Virginia, where they had planned to go. And even though no Europeans had ever settled on these lands before, they decided to stay. The spot they chose for their settlement was on a partially wooded hillside where a native village had once stood. They liked this spot for several reasons. First, because some of the land had already been cleared of trees, so it would be easier to start farming. And also because it was right on Cape Cod Bay. Being on the bay was very important, not only because of its abundant supply of fish, but also because ships could safely anchor there, and this would allow goods to be easily transported to and from the colony. The site for the settlement was surrounded by dense forests, penetrated only by a few trails. The colonists could see that there were both good and bad things about these forests. They might make it hard to build roads and to clear new farmland, but they would yield a good supply of timber for building, and a good harvest of wild game as well. The colonists also liked that the site was near some marshes and streams. These would be useful to them because they would be good places to fish, to hunt for ducks and geese, and also it would be a good place to get reeds which they could use to make thatched roofs for their houses.